Okay, this is an intro video for a tract with direct frontage on the take line at Bull Shoals Lake. Actually has frontage along two sides, over 900 feet of frontage, outlined in red here. Potential for one of the most spectacular views you will ever see. And as I get in a little closer, you'll see what I mean. But let's start first. This peninsula here that you see jutting out into Bull Shoals Lake, that is Timber Shoals Ranch. The shaded area is the Corps of Engineer land that includes the lake and both sides. Um, Bull Shoals is a Corps of Engineer lake, so the water and a buffer zone going back from the water is owned and controlled by the Army Corps of Engineers. They own that buffer strip so that they can raise and lower the water level and not affect the private property owners. So on Bull Shoals Lake, on Table Rock Lake, by Branson, a bunch of these different lakes that are Corps of Engineer lakes, the private citizens generally can't own the actual waterfront, but you can, if you're lucky, you can own up to the Corps of Engineer take line. And then that is basically land that's open to the public, so you can cross that, get to the water. You can also use it for hunting and recreation and hiking and all that good stuff. So with this land outlined in red that you see directly bordering the Corps of Engineer land, you literally have direct access into all this shoreline here, but specifically the shoreline right by the property. So you could, if you wanted to, walk down to the lake itself, although it is steep on that west side. But it's also going to give you that phenomenal view. And as we zoom in here, we'll take a look at that. Actually, first, let's do this. Okay, so atop the screen, the line you see here, that's Mo Ark Road. That's a paved road. Goes down right to the state line. And this is the state line between Missouri and Arkansas. Then you hang a little left onto the gravel road, which is shown in yellow here, and you just go about 1/8 of a mile, and you'll see the property on the right. The yellow lines are the roads or trail system within Timber Shoals Ranch. Several access points to the lake. My favorite, I guess, if you keep going way down to the south, about 2 miles to the south end, you get into the shaded area, which is the Corps of Engineer land, and this is what we call the sandy beach area. And that's hundreds of yards of gorgeous sandy beach, like California or some other sandy beach area. You know, we didn't expect that in the Ozarks. So when they raise the water level up, you don't see the sand, but you still have um, good access to the water. We've launched pontoon boats and jet skis there. It's I guess what you'd call a primitive launch area. It's a hard packed gravel area right about here actually, and you can back your trailer right in and offload your jet ski or whatnot. These other trails we really haven't explored, but they appear to go almost down to the water. The other place we've launched a boat, since everybody asks me about that, this pink line right here, come to the end of Moark Road, and then if you cut east across the south side of this meadow, um, and this is not an easement, but we do own the south side of this meadow, and you're welcome to cross it. Cut east, and then you meet up with a trail that's on the Corps of Engineer land, and then that goes down to State Line Cove, and that's a really good place to launch a boat or a bass boat or pontoon boat or jet skis or whatnot. And there's a big natural parking area here. I mean, you can just leave your boat all day. Super private because again, there are no public roads leading to it. This meadow is private property, so if you don't have permission, you're not going to get there with the vehicle. So pretty cool. Let's zoom in a little more. Okay, so come to the end of Moark Road, um, and then if you were to continue straight, you'd go down this guy's driveway, and this house was built here, I guess, 20 years ago, specifically because of the amazing view on the west side of this peninsula. And you'll see that view as you pull in and look to your right, look to the west. Just a stunning water view. So what he has done, I guess he didn't build the house, but he's been living here a couple years. Whoever built the house cleared out the timber and positioned their house with a view of the lake, a view to the west. And because of the topography, the topography here really lends itself to that view. It's somewhat level, a little bit of a slope coming off the road, and then it drops down steeply as you get into the Corps of Engineer land, and that's what provides you with that spectacular view. So as we look at the property itself, you continue on down the easement road, and it's on the right. There's actually an open meadow area here on the northwest side, and kind of a trail that goes down in. So I mean, you can see bits and pieces of the lake, but ultimately you'd have to clear out some of the timber to get that stunning view that's hiding there. I mean, you can see it through the trees. You can see what the view would be, but since no one's ever built here, it's covered with quite a bit of mature timber, cedars and hardwoods and whatnot. So let's switch over to topo map. So as you look at the topo map, here's the property basically on a topo map. When the lines are far apart, that indicates something that's fairly flat. When the lines are close together, that indicates something that's steep, because each line is a total elevation change of 20 feet. So as you look up here, the majority of the property, although it slopes gently, it's just not steep. It's not until you get to this southwest side that it gets really steep. So I mean, if you were to build up in here, you've got to be off the road a certain distance, but build up in here, clear out some of the timber on this gentle slope. Spectacular lake view. And actually, I personally think it would be a better building site than he has up here, because you could get back off the road quite a ways, where because of the way the core land was situated up here, if we go back to the satellite map, oh, internet is not good today. Come on, baby. Might just have to wing it. But because of the way that the core land is situated there, it's starting to go. I mean, he got as far to the west as he could, but there was only so far he could go because you can't build on the core land. Whereas with this property, you have more options. You could get back in here toward the middle and basically leave a huge buffer strip of trees here, and then you would have that view, but you'd be private from the road. So, I mean, you could search a lifetime and not find a building site like this. The whole west side, the whole south side border that Corps of Engineer land for a total of about 900 feet. I will mention that on this map, the shaded area that indicates the core land, it's pretty close. It's not quite exact. Here it shows it's overlapping the core land. Clearly, it's not. You can't do that. But this gives you a really good idea how things are situated. This is the MapRight link, and we'd be happy to send you this. Really helpful. When you go out there, you need to get the MapRight app, and then we'll email you the link for this specific map. Open the email on your phone or your tablet, whatever has the app. Click on the link in the email. It will ask you if you want to open it within your app, to which you'll say yes. And then not only will this map pop up, but there'll be a little colored dot to indicate exactly where you are. So it's great for getting to the property, but it's also great for walking the boundaries, because you can just have your phone in hand or tablet, and we do it all the time, and walk and see, the basic exterior boundaries. It's fairly accurate. It's not, 100% precise, but it's fairly accurate. It'll really show you what's going on. These tracks out here, we've had survey work done on the exterior boundaries of Timber Shoals Ranch. The tracks themselves are being sold by legal description. They are not surveyed, although we are marking the approximate corners. And we're actually speaking with the surveyor about surveying the individual tracks as well. And if we do that, that will be at no cost to our buyers. So as we zoom in a little more here, another thing I wanted to show you on this, and I don't recall if I've mentioned it, but it looks like the neighbor's fairly close, and I guess he is within a few hundred feet. But as soon as you get off the road at all, it's completely private. I mean, we were out here in the middle of the winter, and you could not see the neighbor other than this northernmost point right on the road. So if you're looking for something private, I mean, I don't think you can get any better than this. I think it's unbelievable. Now, the little surprise that we found on this, and we found this when we did the drone video, watch that as well to see, is this is some sort of debris pile. Our best guess is that someone was storing building materials there at some point 20 years ago, and eventually the tarp kind of went to pieces and the building materials sat there. And I mean, see the drone video to see what it's all about. We actually, when we did the ground video, we drove into about here, stopped and walked and looked around, but never thought to go back here to see that. But if that's something that concerns you, I mean, feel free to go look at it with your own eyes and see what it is. The best guess in the office is that it's a stack of hollow core doors that got wet and kind of disintegrated. So anyway, probably someone had planned to build there at one point, because there's some black pipe lying around. There's some other stuff that indicates that someone had planned to build there, and also that would be right in line with what we think would be probably the premium site on this acreage. So that's very possible. But anyway, InstantAcres.com is where you can go to see if this tract is still available. If it is, then you'll see it on the website. If it's not available, then you won't. So we have an extremely limited number of these view tracts, what I'm calling the view tracts, on the west side of the peninsula. That's the only part of the peninsula that has the topography to really have, that $1 million lake view, the mansion style lake view. And I think there's, just a handful of these 3-acre tracts. And I never do play favorites, but this one is particularly nice to have that kind of frontage and that just the way it sits and the privacy. And I really, really like this one. So if you have any questions, just let us know. InstantAcres.com. You can call us in the office, or you can shoot us an email at sales@instantacres.com.